Welcome to this week's video tutorial. Today I would like to show you how you can customize the tooltips of your base geography features. By default, the tooltips of the base layer features display the area name and the indicator value, as you can see in this example report. However, you can also configure the tip to show something like in this report. Here the tooltips contain not only the feature name and the indicator value, but also a different image for each of the areas and some further information about the countries, such as the name of the capital, the area and the population. Besides this, you can see that different bits of the text are formatted differently. Some words are static, which means they are the same for all the areas, and some parts are dynamic and change when I hover over different countries. I would like to explain to you how the tooltips in this example report were created. Once you know how this was done, you will find it easy to create your own customized tooltips for your base geography features. To modify these tooltips, it is an advantage to know the basics of HTML coding, since the content of the tooltips need to be defined using HTML tags. However, only a small number of HTML tags are supported by the Flash reports, which means that if you do not know any HTML, it won't take you long to get your head around these few commands. You can find a list of all the supported HTML tags in the InstantAtlas Desktop User Guide, and if you need more information on HTML, you will be able to find plenty of documentation and tutorials about HTML coding in the internet. Now, how did I create the tooltips for this example? First of all, it is important to understand that all dynamic parts of the tooltips need to be part of the data.xml file. This is the Excel workbook which was used to create the data file for this report. In here you find the feature names and the indicator values, but also some associate columns, one for the flag image, one for the area, for the population, and one for the capital. I could have put the whole HTML code of the tooltip into one associate column and then point the report to pick up this column, but to keep things a bit more structured, I chose to have one associate for each of the dynamic parts of the tooltip. The flag column already contains some HTML code. This is the image tag, which contains in the source attribute the relative link to my images. All flag images are stored in a subfolder called flags of my dynamic report folder, and this is where the relative path points to. By default, an image is surrounded by some white space on all sides. Since I want my tooltips to be quite compact, I simply added vSpace equals 0, which ensures that there is minimal space above and below the image. The dynamic parts of the tooltip are then puzzled together in the InstantAtlas Designer. At the bottom of the property list of my map component, I will find the property called tip. This property contains the HTML code for the tooltips. Now, it is quite difficult to look at this code within the Designer, so I have copied it out into a Word document and formatted the code so that it is easier for you to follow my explanations. The green P tags define a paragraph. So you can see that the code contains 4 paragraphs. The B tags make the text between the closing and the opening tag bold. The yellow highlighted parts are static text. They are the same for all base layer features and are displayed exactly like that in the tooltip. The red parts are substitution variables. These are the dynamic bits of the tooltip, which come from the data.xml file. For associate columns, the name within the curly bracket need to match exactly the name of your associate column in the Excel workbook. The blue parts of the code define the font size, the color and the font face of the feature name and indicator value. Colors need to be included as hexadecimal values, so this value here is a medium green. You can also see a number of BR tags here. One BR tag defines a new line. It is important to include them after an image, since the tooltip box does not recognize the dimensions of the image. If I had left the BR tags out, the lines for capital, area and population would appear to the right of the image, but they would float out of the tooltip box. So you need to include a certain number of BR tags depending on the height of the image. That is it. This is the code that makes up the tooltips of the base geography features in this report. You will see that in this example also the contextual layers, the capital cities, have customized tooltips. It is not part of the scope of this video, but if you are interested on how we made this work, Or if you have any questions on how to customize your base layer features, please do not hesitate to contact support@geowise.co.uk.